give us the right to make alcohol illegal. So they had to make a change. Now we make many substances in the United States illegal without making any kind of a change in the Constitution.
Again, this is an indication not of the fact that government is willing to do things outside the Constitution, but it is more of an indication that Americans have lost touch with the Constitution. We, the people, ordain and establish the Constitution. We created government, and it is our responsibility to monitor the government and to keep the government within those limitations. The fact that our government can pass these laws without a public outcry is a very serious indication that we have lost touch with our founding fathers.
What can we do to restore the awareness of these rights? What can we do so that people are aware when you're violating the Constitution, or when the government violates the Constitution, they're taking something very concrete away from you? How can we make people understand that?
Well, my first recommendation would be for people to memorize the Bill of Rights. I understand that that sounds like a lot of work, but it's very important. You can't protect your rights until you know precisely what they are. So that would be a fundamental thing. And the second thing that I would say is that we should ignore the old adage that it's improper to talk about religion and politics in social circles. I think that if people were more willing to talk politics with their friends, and admittedly maybe get into some heated discussions, but I think that if we discussed politics and listened to all of the issues, I think all of us would understand the Constitution and the fundamental principles better. And I think that we would be able to take care of ourselves, our rights, and be able to limit government to only its assigned duties.
So America has a very unique culture, a culture that's imitated all over the world. Now, is the Constitution responsible for creating the atmosphere where this unique culture of modern art, of rock and roll, of rap music, of Hollywood movies that is copied all over the world? Is the Constitution responsible for creating the atmosphere that gave birth to those things?
Actually, it's just the opposite. The Constitution is an effect. That is a result of the independent spirit and attitude that we have. We, the people, have the spirit of freedom and independence. We have liberty burning inside our hearts. And we are the people who create the rock and roll music, create that spirit of freedom. And we also created the Constitution as a documentation of that spirit of freedom. So it's not the piece of paper, it's not the Constitution or the Bill of Rights that creates that. It's our love of liberty that really allows us to be free.
What about economically? How does the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, I'd like to use the term economic civil rights, I think, to ask this question. How does the Constitution and the Bill of Rights grant us our economic civil rights?
Well, again, the Constitution doesn't grant us anything. What it does is to recognize that you own your own body and you own the product of your labor. If you spend 8 hours, stacking rocks up to build a house, that is your house. That's your place to live. And you have a right to protect that property, because you are human, and without that shelter, without that food, you'll soon cease to exist.
So more precisely, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights keep the government from doing something that would take away that atmosphere of freedom.
And as libertarians, we strongly support a free market system where you are allowed to build any product or provide any service and make that good or that service available at whatever cost you think the market will bear. And when people are allowed to exchange the fruit of their labors freely, then we have economic prosperity. anytime the government comes in with regulations to limit what you can do and set prices and minimum wage laws, then we, the people, are having our economic freedoms limited. We are allowing people in Washington to make decisions for us, which quite literally limits our liberty.
Looking at minimum wage laws, I always ask the question, why do we need a law like that? What is the government doing that makes wages so low that they then have to be artificially raised? Libertarians look at the causes of economic problems. We look towards the government and what is the government doing to keep those wages down to the point where you then have to artificially raise them. I think that I like what you're talking about a truly free market, which I don't think is what we have now.
No, certainly not.
That would be a system, an economic system that would work for the little guy too?
Oh, absolutely. And the little guy are the people who would benefit the most. When any time the government establishes regulations, let's say that they are going to require a $10,000 fee for any type of business to register. Well, the large businesses are going to be able to afford that $10,000 fee. It'll be a small percentage of their overall profit. And it is the small businesses who wouldn't be able to afford that and still make a profit that would go out of business. And so it turns out that large businesses are actually lobbying for government to cause these regulations, to put the small businesses out and to eliminate much of their competition.
Some of these businesses do go out of business because of progress rather than things like that. Like when the car came in, we had people that would, shoe horses that lost their job.
That's correct.
So what about, where's the difference there between the jobs that are eliminated through progress and jobs that are eliminated through regulation?
Well, the difference is that jobs that are eliminated through progress are done through progress and through the open market. If you are providing a service that is lower quality or obsolete, people are just not going to do that. There were people who worked as carrying ice before the advent of refrigeration. But I think a more significant difference is that even if there were 10,000 people in the United States whose job it was to shoe horses, once the automobile came into existence, think of the number of jobs that were created in the automotive industry. And so
better paying jobs.
So the people who had poor paying jobs working with horses and liveries were able to improve their lot in life.
Thanks a lot. We have to wrap. Join us online at lp.org or call us at 1-800-ELECT-US, and we'll see you next time on The Libertarian Alternative.
Give up, learn to live, show the world you're painted in. The colors there are so deep and rich. Who could resist this magical chill? Hold the freedom in your hands, feel so smooth it never ends. Watch your fears begin to melt. Tell your lover how